At a law firm gala in a hotel ballroom, a senior partner tips a cleaner's cart and films her humiliation. A junior associate steps in, kneels to clean, pays for overtime, and gets escorted out while risking his job. Quiet care follows, and small, steady changes ripple through the hotel and firm even as the personal cost lands hard. Before we get started, tap like, share, and subscribe to join the journey. And tell me, where in the world are you watching? Drop your country below. I love seeing the global trail of these stories. He tipped the cart with one hand. The bag split. Coffee sludge spread in a brown pond over the ballroom carpet. Forks skittered under a table. A wine glass went down and popped. The woman in the grey housekeeping uniform jerked back like she could make time reverse. The older man grinned at his phone. Flash on. He held the lens low, like he was filming a stunt. Make a circle, he said, voice thick with whiskey. Show us how fast you are. Laughter flared around him, quick and sharp. She reached for the mess. Latex squeaked. A shard caught her palm. She sucked in air and looked at no one. The DJ turned the music up a notch. Bass shook the silver balloons tied to chairs. The man by the dessert table saw it all. He had a tux that didn't quite fit and shoes that pinched. Frosting smeared his thumb. He watched the older man, their firm's rainmaker, tilt his phone and cackle at the screen. He could hear the laugh track of partners behind him. They were relaxed now, ties loose, top buttons open. Their talk was mergers and golf and a ribbon cut in the morning. That older man controlled committees, cases, the team assignments. He decided who stayed and who slowly stopped getting invites. The man by the dessert table wiped his thumb on a napkin. He had student loans and a lease that chewed at him. He had waited years for a keycard to this kind of room. He had smiled through 1,000 small things because every small thing felt like if you pulled it, your whole sweater came apart. He stared at the woman's hand and the thin smear there. She held the cut in her glove, hid it against her stomach. Her cart rolled when the older man knocked it again with his knee. No one stopped him. The hotel manager looked stuck, mouth open, eyes on the sponsor banner. He walked onto the carpet and took the mic. It was just sitting there on the stage edge, blue tape around the handle. He tapped it. Feedback popped. The room flinched. Stop, he said into it. His voice came back at him from the speakers, bigger than he felt. He pointed the mic down toward the mess. Stop filming. You're done. A cluster of faces turned his way. The older man pivoted from his phone to him like he was annoyed at a waiter who brought the wrong drink. Excuse me. He took off his jacket. He didn't need a speech. He draped the black wool over the woman's shoulders anyway. To just give her a layer. She stiffened, then nodded once. He dropped to a knee and started picking the glass, slow, with 2 fingers. He waved at the hotel manager. Put the overtime on my card, he said, and a clean-up fee for the carpet. He tugged his wallet free, hands clumsy. He placed his card on the edge of the stage. Run it now. The older man stepped in close. His whiskey breath hit like a hot towel. The phone in his hand recorded nothing now but the ceiling. Who do you think you are? He said. Not loud. Worse. It was the tone you heard in closed offices. He kept his head down and cleared a circle, pushing the glass into a plastic plate. Someone who doesn't want to watch this, he said. He looked up once. Put the phone away. The older man smiled without his eyes. You like attention? You want to do this here. He lifted the phone like a threat that could be sent to anyone. You work for me, not tonight, he said. He set the plate on the cart and stood. He clicked the mic off and held it out to the DJ. Cut the music. The DJ looked at the older man, then him, then the older man again. He cut it. A partner from tax drifted over, red in the face. Hey, he said in a soft voice. No one could hear, hands up, trying to make it smooth. Let's not make this a thing. He needed it to slide away, like all messes did. It's already a thing, the younger man said. He took the older man's phone gently, just pressed the screen down and handed it back. Go home. His heart thudded so hard he could feel it under his tie. Security came fast. 2 men in blazers, radios, clipped. Their eyes went from the sponsor banner to the older man's face to the man in the tux without a jacket. One security guy had that shrug built into him that said, "Tell me who to move." The older man pointed and looked bored. "He's bothering guests," he said. He didn't need to shout. The room did the shouting for him in how it stood still and waited. The woman tugged the jacket tighter. She kept cleaning. She was making the pond into a small lake, into a damp patch with steady wipes. Muscle memory. Her cut kept a small dotting line through the latex. The younger man held his hands open. "I'm going." he said to security. He didn't want a scene where hands went on arms. He nodded toward the woman. She needs a bandage. He made himself look at the older man. We can talk Monday. Don't come Monday, the older man said, like a weather report. Nothing personal. Find your stuff tonight. A few heads tipped toward each other near the bar like birds. The hotel manager swiped the card against a little grey machine. It beeped. She tore a small receipt and slid it into the man's palm. Her eyebrows lifted. The number hurt. They guided him toward the service hall. He snagged a folded napkin and pressed it into the woman's hand as he passed, like a relay baton. First aid kit in the back, he asked the security guy. By the ice machine, the guy said. He wasn't unkind. He just had a job too. The service hall was loud and bright. Dishwashers hissed. A rolling rack clinked. The beige paint ended in a dark line where people's shoulders had brushed it for years. It smelled like lemons and hot metal. The woman parked her cart by a mop sink. She looked at the jacket like it was on loan from a museum. He peeled a blue box with a little red cross off a shelf and popped it open. Alcohol pads. Bandages. Tape. He held out his hands like a mechanic asking for a tool. May I? She nodded. She didn't talk right away. He dabbed the cut. She watched the floor. She breathed slow. He taped gauze. His tie swung and touched his wrist. Thank you, she said after a while. The word landed flat and real. She rolled her hand once, testing the wrap. Can you clock out for 10? He asked. Sit. He glanced at the exhale of Ballroom through the door. The bass was off now. You could hear forks being counted. She shook her head quick. If I sit, I stay late, she said. It came out like she had practiced this sentence a lot. They dock you if you don't hit the hour. She pushed the cart with her hip. I'll finish the room with the gloves. She looked at his jacket again. She started to shrug it off. Keep it for the hour, he said. I'm not cold. He was cold. On the shelf above the sink was a stack of papers. Not neat, not messy. A shape your eyes noticed without meaning to. On top was an envelope from Housing Court with a stamped date for tomorrow. A bus schedule was folded around it. 2 little square school lunch tickets were clipped to the edge with a paper clip. He didn't touch the papers. He didn't need to. He could read dates and the weather for them. She tucked the stack back with a wrist like she'd hidden that motion before. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. The lock screen lit up a photo of a boy in a school hoodie, making a face like he didn't like photos. 4:45 a.m. alarm set. He willed his eyes not to show anything. He took an empty trash bag and opened it with a whip of air. The two of them went back to the ballroom through the service door. Nobody clapped when they came in. People had drifted to the lobby. The older man was gone. The DJ was packing cables, face neutral. They worked. No talk. He bent and picked until his back ached. He shook confetti from a chair skirt and watched it fall like a tiny, silent storm. He pulled soggy napkins up with 2 fingers. He learned the way she moved edges first, then center. He learned her way of scanning a room from the corners in. The hotel manager brought over a small plastic bin with bandages and gloves and set it on the bar like a bowl of mints. She didn't say anything, just left it there. A busboy dropped a stack of clean rags down by the cart and kept walking. When the carpet was only damp instead of ruined, the woman folded his jacket over her arm and held it out. He shook his head. Wear it to the elevator, he said. She nodded. She was tired, but her shoulders were not folded in anymore. He signed a second slip at the edge of the bar. Overtime extended. The number was ugly. He slid the pen back to the manager. Her eyes met his for a second that counted. They rode up the service elevator. No music there, just the metal walls and 2 people who had shared a thing without naming it. She handed him his jacket in the hall. It was damp at the hem. You'll get in trouble, she said, not as a question. It's a good jacket, he said. It was a stupid joke. She smiled anyway. Tiny, like closing a drawer. 3 things shifted after that night. The next event, there was a laminated sign on the double doors at eye level. Please respect our staff. No filming. It looked like a hotel thing, not a firm thing, which made it safer. The day after, there were clear plastic boxes of Band-Aids and 2 pairs of cut-proof gloves set out beside the bar back where the limes sat. They stayed there, not just for show. The bartender slid them out without comment when a glass cracked. At the firm, an email arrived from People Ops, the kind of grey email that usually meant nothing. This one was a page long. It said, no recording staff at partner events. It said, any vendor issues go to the hotel manager. It copied the general counsel. It didn't say names. People read it anyway. He lost his access to the case folder that week. The older man didn't put him on calls. A friend from his floor texted, "Are you okay?" Then never followed up. He gathered a box. He took his plants home. He sent 2 payments late on purpose. He called his landlord early and said the second would trail, voice steady. He learned to do coffee from the machine near the elevators in the afternoons to save $6. He didn't regret the receipt in his wallet, but he touched it sometimes like a sore tooth. He saw the woman twice more. Once in a quiet afternoon, she pushed her cart along a hallway of locked conference rooms. He was going the other way. They both lifted a hand. Simple. The second time, she was outside on break, in the little square of air behind the hotel that smelled like onions and cigarettes. She sat on a milk crate. The boy from her lock screen stood beside her with a backpack that had seen a few years. They shared a can of orange soda. He kept walking. That felt right. Weeks later, he still saw the carpet. He saw his hands half shaking and her hands sure. He saw the older man's phone glowing like a little sun in a drunk hand. He saw a small bin of Band-Aids on a bar. He had thought the choice would feel big, loud. It felt like a quiet door he stepped through, and then he was on the other side and the hall kept going. He stood at his apartment window one morning and watched light hit the fire escape. The grating took the sun and made it into straight lines on his floor. He didn't move until the line slid off the rug. He didn't think about bravery. He thought about the little click the mic made when he turned it off. He thought about the sound a fresh trash bag makes when you shake it open. He thought about the jacket, drying on a chair back, catching a square of morning light and holding it for a second before letting it go.